Welcome back, students. We're talking about payments today, and we are looking at the present value of a stream of payments. This form of payment is known as an ordinary annuity, okay? All right, let's go ahead and jump into this. So leave me your questions, any time value of money questions, leave them, and I will do my best to solve them for you. And don't forget, you can download this file and follow along. All right, quick overview. The purpose of today is an introduction to ordinary annuity questions to gain comfort with the annuity payments on your TIBA2 Plus and obviously the use of the BA2 Plus. All right, now in the previous video to this, the one relating to payments as well, but future value, I went into a little bit of a discussion as to why I lectured a little bit about what payments are and what the key terms of payments are. I won't do that here, but if you want, you can go back and watch that other video. I'll link it somewhere here so you can go back and watch that. That's kind of important. Here, we're just going to jump into some questions so that you guys can get some practice, okay? Now, always remember, you can pause the video, try the question, and then watch me do it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my highlighter. As you guys know, I have a very a process in the way I solve this question. It's the same every single time, so that I don't get lost trying to figure out, did I already look at this term? What am I looking for? I follow a very strict process, and I encourage you to follow a similar process. Hopefully it works for you as well. All right, let's jump into the question. Question one, I got my yellow highlighter. Royalties from your acting career have granted you the right to receive $15,000 payments at the end of each year for the next 10 years. If the annual interest rates are 8%, and here comes the question, what is the present value of this stream of payments? So first off, let's go over here to our chart. What is the value we're looking for? We're looking for the present value. Okay, so let's go through the terms from top to bottom. So n number of years, 10 years, interest rate is going to be 8%. We're skipping present value. And what are the payments? Look here, $15,000 payments. It says payments, right? At the end of each year. Okay, so we're going to put $15,000. Now, in this case, you're receiving them, right? So that's going to be a positive. That's going to be a positive 15,000. And what about future value? Is there any future value here? There's no mention of a future value amount, so we are just going to leave that as 0. So let's put our terms in here. So 10 years. Oh, what happened to my Y there? 10 years, 8%. Present value is what I'm looking for. There is no future value. And so remember, this is 10 years. So we have time 0 here, year 10 here, and then in the middle, we've got year 5. And let's add some years. Okay, so we got to put our stream of payments here, right? Let's put our first stream. So we're going to do 15,000. Now remember, in my previous video, I didn't, it's 15,000 times 10 because there's 10 years, right? So there's a stream of $15,000 payments all the way through. If you added this stream up, it would total 10 payments. The bubbles may not be 10, right? But you should know that there's 10 payments of $15,000. Okay, each one of these, it would be exactly $15,000. All right. I won't get into here. You can watch the previous video to understand that a little better. All right. So let's grab our financial calculator and let's second clear our time value of money. So we're going to do 10 years and we're going to do 8%. The present value is what we're looking for. What are our payments? So we have $15,000 in payments, 0 future value, and we're going to compute our present value here. So we have 100,651 and 22 cents. So 100,651 and 22 cents. Let's just double check that. Yep. Okay, great. So what does that 100,651.22 cents mean? Well, that means that if we took this stream of payments, right, our 10 payments, $15,000 each, then if we discounted them back we discounted them back at 8%, that's this 100,000 is what they're worth if you were to be paid a lump sum of money today, right? So I hope that's clear. Hopefully there'll be one with not so many years so I can actually, fill in the bubbles and that'll be a little bit clearer. But I hope this wasn't too confusing. Leave me a comment if this was not clear. All right, let's keep moving here. Grab my highlighter. So you have inherited a trust that will provide you with $5,000 payments at the end of each year for the next 10 years. Prevailing annual interest rates are 7.5%. What is the present value of this annual payment? So here's a question. What is the present value of this stream of annual payments? Unfortunately, this is 10 years also, right? But let's go. What are we looking for? Present value, right? Present value. So top to bottom, and how many years? 10 years. Interest rate is 7.5%. The payments are going to be $5,000 payments, and 0 is going to be future value. I just realized something. Let's go back. Let's grab my financial calculator. Notice this is a negative. Yeah, there you guys might have had a question about that. This is a negative. That is actually a negative. Now, at least for my students, when I first teach time value of money, I let them keep the negative there so that they can understand it. There's a whole video on positives and negatives. The payments were positive, therefore the present value must be negative. Okay. In the future, I do get my students to drop the negative and positive and understand, what the meaning of the dollar amounts is. But since everybody's just learning, I like to keep the positive and negatives there. Okay. Sorry. I just realized that I missed that. So let's fill in our timeline. Future values. So 10 years, 7.5%. Present value is what we're looking for. There is no future value. We've got 10 years, 5 years, 0, and let's do this as 1. So we're going to be receiving $5,000, and we're going to be receiving that 10 times. So again, there's going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. There's going to be a total 10 times $5,000, right? 10 years, $5,000 a year. So what is the present value? That's what we're looking for here. What is the present value of this stream of income discounted back at 7.5%? Let's grab our financial calculator. Second clear. Number of years, 10 years. Interest rate, 7.5. Present value is what we're looking for. And we're receiving $5,000. And there is no future value. So let's compute our present value. So $34,320.40. Let's see here. Let's make that red. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Okay, and that is the present value of this stream of income. So let's say somebody wanted to buy this stream of income from you, right? That if you were certain that the interest rate or the discount rate was 7.5%, if you were comfortable with that discount rate, then you would accept this. You would accept this amount of money in lieu of the stream of $5,000 payments, right? So I hope you understand that. If somebody were to pay you this amount, this $34,320.40, in today's dollars is the equivalent of the $5,000 payments a year for the next 10 years, discounted at 7.5%. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Don't want to make things more confusing than they need to be. Okay. I just wanted to check there. Okay, let's keep going. We only have a few more questions left. They're all going to be very similar, so pause it here and give it a try. You have won the lottery and are set to receive $50,000 per year for the next 20 years. Current interest rates are 5.5%. What is this worth in today's money? So we're trying to figure this out. So what are we looking for? What is this worth in today's money, present value? Notice that we use different wording here now. So we have 20 years, 5.5%. The payments are going to be $50,000 per year for that 20 years, and there is no future value. So 5.5, that's what we're looking for, and nothing. All right, so this one I definitely can't do because it's 20 years, right? But we're receiving 50,000, and you're going to have to, imagine that there are 20 payments back to back, right? Here we have 20 payments times $50,000. So what is that stream of $50,000 payments over 20 years discounted at 5.5%? What is that worth in today's dollars? Let's grab our financial calculator. Second clear. So 20 years, discount rate or interest rates are 5.5%. Present value that we're looking for. Payment is going to be $50,000 every year for the next 20 years. Zero future value. Compute present value. So that stream of payments today is worth $597,519.12. $597,519.12. Let's make sure we got that right. Yep, perfect. Let me make sure I put the negative on this one also. Keep forgetting that. Okay. All right. So if somebody said, you won the lottery, you're receiving these $50,000 payments for the next 20 years, right? Somebody offers you this amount of money here. Well, that's today. They offered you today to buy your stream of $50,000 payments. Well, if you're confident that this is an appropriate discount rate, then you would take that money, right? It's the same amount. It's the same amount. It equals the stream of payments, right? If they offered you more money, right? Let's say they offered you $650,000, then they're likely working with a lower discount rate. Okay? All right. I know that may not make a lot of sense now, but I want to put that idea in your head so that it starts to develop, so that when I do ask questions about it, you can think about it in the future. All right, let's keep going here. Number 4, you have won the lottery and are set to receive $50,000 per year for the next 20 years. Current interest rates are 11%. What is this worth in today's money? What is this worth in today's money? It's exactly the same question, right? The only thing we're changing is we're changing the interest rate to equal 11%. 11%. So if we're changing the discount rate to 11% from 5.5 to 11, what would we expect the impact to be on the 597,000? Would we expect a larger number, or would we expect a smaller number? Think about that for a second. And let's go to the financial calculator. Now, in the financial calculator, all I'm going to do is change the interest rate to 11 because all the other numbers are exactly the same, right? Nothing changed. And I'm going to compute the present value. But I want you to think about it before I compute the present value. We're going from a discount rate of 5.5% to a discount rate of 11%. A larger discount rate. Think about that word discount. When you get a larger discount, what happens to the amount you receive or you have to pay? A larger discount usually means you have to pay less, right? Okay, so we're going from 5.5 to 11%, right? Almost actually double the discount rate. So let's figure out what that present value is going to be and look at the impact of that discount rate on the present value? 398,166 and 41 cents. So I'm just going to put that here at 11%. It's going to be, I want to get it right, 398, 166 and 41. And we've answered the following question, right? So notice we doubled the discount rate, and look what happened to the impact of our present value dollars, right? How much did we lose? Almost from 600,000 to 398. That's almost $200,000 less because that discount rate increased. Now, really quick, this isn't a question, but what if we went from 5.5% to 3%? Right now that you learn what happened when we double the discount rate, what happens when we decrease the discount rate? Well, we would expect the present value to go up, right? Because the discount is smaller. So you're discounting your money less, right? So you're going to receive more. Think about that. Let that sink in. Yeah, I know it's a lot to take in. Trust me. Okay, last question. You are expecting to receive a rent payment of $18,000 per year on your commercial property for the next 10 years. If interest rates are 5.5%, what is the present value of these future rent payments? So, what is the present value of the future rent payments? We have 10 years. Interest rate, or the amount we're discounting, is 5.5%. Payments, $18,000 per year. Okay. Did I put that negative up here? I just want to make sure this guy. Yeah, I put the negative there, right there. Okay. All right. Let's put this in our timeline. Okay. So 10 years, 5.5%. Present value is what we're looking for. Future value is 0. We have 10 years that we're working with. So the stream of payments is going to be 18,000, and there's going to be, there's going to be 10 of them. There's going to be 10 of these. If there's not exactly 10 bubbles, I'll ask you to forgive me, right? 10 payments times 18,000. Okay, so what is this stream of payment worth in today's dollars? Let's grab our financial calculator. Second, clear the time value of money. Clear your work down here. 10 years. Interest rate is 5.5%. Present values we're looking for. The payments are 18,000 a year and 0 for future value. Now we're going to compute present value. 135,677 and 26. Oh, let's see what that was. 135,677, 26. Okay, there we go. It's going to be a negative, right? Based on the fact that the payment streams were positive, so our present value must be negative. Again, there's a video on positives and negatives you should watch if you're still confused about that. Okay, all right, so we've gone through all the problems. Quick few takeaways, a few keywords to look for when you're dealing with payments, right? At the end of each year, right? Each year means that it's consistent. You're going to get it at the end of the year. That's a stream of payments. And also we will receive X over the next Y years. That's very typical. Okay. Now notice, I want you to notice here. Now here we asked the present value of these future rent payments. And we just asked what is that worth in today's money, right? So we're asking today's money present value, right? That's what we're asking for. What is the present value? Here we straight up asked for it. Okay. All right, guys. I don't want this video to go too long, although it probably already did. I will see you in the next video.